Aeon, once a small biotech startup, has now risen to the ranks of a multi-billion-dollar corporation under the strategic leadership of its founder, Sophie Thyssen. The company's groundbreaking procedure allows the wealthy to purchase additional years of life by transferring them from younger, genetically compatible donors. This age exchange technology has attracted both admiration and controversy. Lifetime donors, often young and financially struggling, are compensated handsomely, but the ethical implications have sparked a fierce debate. The Atom Group, a radical collective led by a woman named Lilith, stands at the forefront of the opposition, determined to bring Aeon down. Max Thoma is one of Aeon's most persuasive representatives, known for his ability to convince people to part with their years. His belief in the benefits of age exchange is personal. Max himself traded 5 years of his life to finance his education, a decision he doesn't regret. His commitment to Aeon has provided him and his wife, Alina, with a lifestyle they could only dream of, a luxurious apartment and financial stability. Yet, Max remains unaware that Alina has secretly put 40 years of her life on the line as collateral for their home loan, setting the stage for their downfall. Tragedy strikes when a fire engulfs Max and Alina's apartment, leaving them homeless and financially devastated. The insurance company denies their claim, citing Alina's carelessness as the cause of the fire. Desperate and with nowhere else to turn, Max seeks help from Sophie Thyssen, hoping that his loyalty to Aeon will be rewarded. Sophie, however, offers little more than a slightly better position within the company, a role that comes with a modest pay increase but is nowhere near enough to cover their mounting debts. The situation leaves Max feeling powerless, trapped in a system he once believed in. As their financial situation worsens, the authorities step in to collect on the loan, leading to Elena's arrest. She is taken to Aeon's facilities, where the age exchange process is forcibly carried out. 38 years of Elena's life are extracted, leaving her body to age rapidly and transforming her into an old woman within days. Max is devastated by the sudden and drastic change in his wife, but his sorrow quickly turns to suspicion. He begins to suspect that Sophie herself may have benefited from Elena's lost years, using them to further extend her own life and continue her research. Driven by anger and a growing sense of betrayal, Max digs deeper into Aeon's operations, uncovering a chilling truth. Sophie had identified Elena as a prime-time donor years before Max ever met her. In fact, Sophie had orchestrated their meeting, knowing that Max's charm would eventually lead Elena to donate her years, whether willingly or not. The fire that destroyed their home was no accident. It was a calculated move by Sophie to push Elena into a desperate situation, ensuring she would have no choice but to give up her years. Max's world is shattered as he realizes the extent of Sophie's manipulation. Determined to take matters into his own hands, Max devises a plan to reverse the time donation and restore Elena's lost years. He contacts an underground organization in Lithuania known for their expertise in illegal time reversals. With their help, Max plans to kidnap Sophie and force her to undo the damage she's done. However, in a twist of fate, Max mistakenly kidnaps Sophie's daughter, Marie, instead of Sophie herself. Despite the error, Max presses forward with his plan, convinced that he can still use Marie as leverage to get what he wants and teach Sophie a lesson. Elena, initially horrified by Max's scheme, struggles with the moral implications of kidnapping an innocent woman. But as she contemplates the possibility of regaining her youth and the chance to start a family, her resolve hardens. Reluctantly, she agrees to go along with Max's plan. The couple, along with Marie, embark on a treacherous journey, hoping to find a way to reverse the time donation. Yet, their path to redemption is fraught with danger, and their plan takes an unexpected turn when they are captured by the Atom Group, whose motives are even more radical than their own. The Atom Group, led by the enigmatic and ruthless Lilith, sees an opportunity in Max and Elena's desperation. Lilith devises a plan to use Marie as bait, hoping to lure Sophie into a trap and eliminate her once and for all. She threatens to kill Elena if Max refuses to cooperate, leaving him with no choice but to agree. The situation grows increasingly tense as they prepare for the final confrontation, knowing that Sophie's arrival will set off a chain of events that could either destroy Aeon or bring about even greater destruction. Sophie, unaware of the trap that awaits her, arrives at the designated location to rescue her daughter. The sight of Marie in danger shakes Sophie to her core, revealing a vulnerability she rarely shows. However, the situation quickly escalates into a deadly confrontation. Shots are fired, and in the chaos, Sophie is struck down. As she falls, her life begins to slip away, leaving the future of Aeon in question. Lilith and several of her followers also perish in the crossfire, their radical mission ending in bloodshed. Max and Elena, shocked by the violence, manage to escape with Marie, but their ordeal is far from over. On the run, Max and Elena seek out Dr. Berg, a rogue scientist who has the knowledge and equipment needed to reverse the time donation process. As they journey to his hidden laboratory, Max begins to have second thoughts. The closer they get to their goal, the more he realizes that their quest for revenge has turned them into the very people they despise. Max confesses his doubts to Elena, expressing his fear that they are becoming just as ruthless as Sophie. He proposes abandoning the plan, hoping to find another way to make things right without resorting to further harm. Elena, however, remains resolute. The thought of reclaiming her lost years and the chance to live the life she once dreamed of is too strong to resist. Despite Max's pleas, she refuses to back down. In a moment of anger and frustration, she throws Max out of the car, choosing to continue the journey on her own. As she arrives at Dr. Berg's secluded lab, Elena steels herself for what lies ahead. She knows that the process will be risky and painful, but she is willing to pay any price to regain her youth, even if it means sacrificing Marie's future. Inside the lab, Dr. Berg prepares for the delicate and dangerous procedure. Marie, terrified and realizing the full extent of her mother's ambitions, pleads with Elena to reconsider. But Elena's determination is unwavering. As the machinery hums to life, Marie's years begin to flow into Elena, restoring her youth with each passing second. Just as the process nears completion, Sophie's security team bursts into the lab, guns drawn. They manage to rescue Marie, but not before a significant portion of her years have been transferred to Elena, leaving both women forever changed by the experience. Elena's victory is bittersweet. While she has regained her youth, the cost has been immeasurable. The guilt of what she has done weighs heavily on her, and the realization that she has become just as ruthless as Sophie haunts her every waking moment. Meanwhile, Marie, now free from her mother's control, is left to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. Sophie, though injured, survives the ordeal and begins the slow process of recovery. The power dynamics within Aeon begin to shift as Marie steps into a more prominent role, determined to carry on her mother's legacy, but with a newfound sense of caution. As time passes, Max finds himself adrift, disconnected from the life he once knew. His relationship with Elena has been irreparably damaged, and he struggles to find meaning in the aftermath of their ordeal. But rather than succumbing to despair, Max channels his anger and disillusionment into a new purpose. He joins the remnants of the Atom Group, now leaderless after Lilith's death, and gradually rises to a position of leadership. Under Max's guidance, the group becomes more organized and focused, shifting their tactics from violent attacks to strategic operations aimed at undermining Aeon's influence and exposing the truth behind their technology. Max's transformation into the leader of the Atom Group marks a turning point in the fight against Aeon. No longer content with simply causing chaos, Max and his followers begin to target the company's infrastructure and public image. Their goal is to bring Aeon to its knees by revealing the dark secrets behind the age exchange process, including the unethical practices that have allowed the company to thrive. As the group prepares for a daring raid on one of Aeon's most secure campuses, Max reflects on how far he has come, from a loyal employee to a man determined to dismantle the system he once served. The raid on the Aeon campus is meticulously planned, with Max using his insider knowledge of the company's operations to gain an advantage. The Atom Group's objective is clear: to infiltrate the facility, seize critical data, and expose Aeon's darkest secrets to the world. As they make their move, the tension is palpable, knowing that one misstep could lead to their capture, or worse. Max leads the charge, his resolve hardened by the losses he has endured. He knows that this is their best chance to strike a decisive blow against Aeon and change the course of the battle for control over time itself. The operation quickly escalates into a brutal confrontation. Aeon's security forces, anticipating resistance, respond with lethal force. The Atom Group, though outnumbered, fights back with determination and skill. Amid the chaos, Max pushes forward, driven by the need to fulfill his mission. As he reaches the heart of the facility, he encounters Sophie, now fully recovered and more determined than ever to protect her empire. The two face off in a tense showdown, each representing the opposing forces in the war over time. The battle between them is not just physical but ideological, as they each fight for what they believe is the future of humanity. In the midst of their confrontation, Sophie makes a startling revelation. She had always known about Elena's potential as a time donor, but it was Max's love for her that sealed their fate. Sophie had manipulated events from the very beginning, ensuring that Max would fall in love with Elena and lead her to Aeon, where her years could be harvested when the time was right. The revelation shakes Max to his core, but it also strengthens his resolve. He realizes that everything he has done up to this point has been a part of Sophie's grand design, and now it is time to break free from her control. Fueled by anger and a desire for justice, Max confronts Sophie with a renewed sense of purpose. Their fight reaches a fever pitch, with both sides pushing themselves to the limit. In the end, Max manages to overpower Sophie, but he doesn't deliver the final blow. Instead, he forces her to unlock the secrets of Aeon's technology, revealing the truth about the age exchange process to the world. As the data is transmitted, Sophie's empire begins to crumble, her carefully constructed world unraveling before her eyes. Max knows that this is just the beginning of the end for Aeon, but it is a victory nonetheless. With Aeon's secrets exposed, public outrage sweeps across the globe, protests erupt, and governments launch investigations into the company's practices. Sophie, now a pariah, finds herself hunted by both former allies and enemies. The once powerful leader of Aeon is now a fugitive, struggling to survive in a world that has turned against her. Meanwhile, Max and the Atom Group continue their fight, working to dismantle the remaining infrastructure of Aeon and ensure that the technology is never used again. The battle is far from over, but the tide has finally turned in their favor. As the dust settles, Max reflects on the journey that has brought him to this point. He has lost much, his wife, his innocence, and his faith in the system, but he has gained a new sense of purpose. The Atom Group, under his leadership, has evolved into a force for change, dedicated to fighting for a future where time is not a commodity to be bought and sold. Max knows that the road ahead will be difficult, but he is determined to see it through. His struggle against Aeon has become a symbol of resistance, inspiring others to stand up against the injustices of the world. 22. In the wake of Aeon's downfall, Max reconnects with Elena, who has given birth to a child with her new partner. Though their relationship has changed irreparably, there is a sense of closure between them. Elena, having regained her youth at a terrible cost, now faces the challenge of rebuilding her life with her child. Max, too, must find a way to move forward, knowing that his fight is far from over. The world has been forever changed by the events set in motion by Aeon's technology, and Max remains at the forefront of the battle to ensure that such power is never misused again. 23. As Max takes on his new role as leader of the Atom Group, he begins to explore new ways to combat the forces that threaten to exploit time and life. He initiates alliances with other groups and organizations that share their mission, expanding their reach and influence. The Atom Group transforms into a global movement, with cells operating in multiple countries, each dedicated to exposing and dismantling the remnants of Aeon's empire. Max's vision for the future is clear: a world where time is respected, where life is cherished, and where no one can be exploited for the sake of profit. 24. Despite the victories he has achieved, Max knows that the fight against Aeon and its legacy is far from over. The technology that Sophie developed still exists, and there are those who would seek to use it for their own gain. The Atom Group, under Max's leadership, remains vigilant, constantly monitoring for any signs of the technology's resurgence. Max's experiences have hardened him, but they have also given him a sense of clarity. He understands now that his battle is not just against a company, but against a mindset. a belief that in the end, and life Max's journey is one of transformation, from a loyal employee of Aeon to a leader in the fight against the exploitation of time. His story is a testament to the power of resistance and the importance of standing up for what is right, even when the odds are stacked against you. As he continues to lead the Atom Group, Max remains committed to his cause, knowing that the future of humanity depends on their ability to protect the sanctity of life. The battle against Aeon has been won, but the war for the future has just begun. Thank you for watching the video. Plus like, share, comment, and subscribe.